Hi, my name is Aisha,
My name is Hjalmar.
and our project is on invisible littering, and we're exploring littering on Foothill campus. So before we start, we wanted to describe our project to you and summarize it in a way. Our project focuses on the invisible littering that is present on our campus. So we started our project basing it off the neglected back parking lot that is near the swimming pools. The area is a common spot for littering of many items, from surgical masks to plastic in many forms. There are two goals we actually want to achieve with our project. First, we want to implement the solutions we specifically came up with for this project through our research. If the solutions that we have already worked on implementing and are continuing to do so turn out to be successful and effective in reducing litter, we're hoping to spread it to the other parts of the campus that are secluded, thus very susceptible to littering, like the trail on the south side. Second, we wanted to further introduce the topic to increase awareness of the Foothill community through this presentation and interviews, which we will be mentioning in the future slides, that we conducted, asking people on campus if they thought littering is a problem, and during which we presented our data.
But before we go into detail about what we have done and what we would love to do, I think you guys should know why we're doing it, our background and our motivation. So how I got introduced to the issue was during a class last year. We did a project on data collection, and very randomly we chose to collect data on littering at Foothill. And to my surprise, we found a lot. Shocked by this new piece of information, I got home very sad, and I talked to Aisha about how much littering there was at Foothill, and we both decided that something had to be done by this. So we created a team and this project to try and reduce the littering at Foothill. But before we got into implementing solutions and talking to people on how we can implement solutions, we wanted to know why it was bad, why is littering bad. So we found two main motivators. First one being that when littering degrades over time, it releases microparticles. For example, cigarette butts, which is the most common type of littering, when it degrades, it releases microparticles containing pollutants such as arsenic. When arsenic gets into our waterway and our soil, it also gets into the animals and nature, and it's very, very bad for them. Another microparticle which is released from plastics. Microplastics are released. These microplastics can be found in humans all around the world, and microplastics are really bad for us. They damage our cells, and they can also cause allergic reactions. Microplastic also has the potential to cause more side effects that we don't know about yet, since it's not super well researched yet. Our second motivator for why we should reduce littering is the effect it has on wildlife. I'm sure you've all seen the pictures of turtles being stuck in plastic rings used to hold cans of Coke or Sprite. I don't think anyone's ever been happy seeing these pictures. And the truth is, the harsh reality is that it happens every day, and it's super sad, especially since it's so simple to prevent it. It's just by putting your trash into a trash bin.
So we wanted to collect data before we concluded that there is littering, even though we were pretty sure that there is one. So we started off by walking around campus, trying to map out the littering hotspots and collect data on the amount of trash in the area. So during our visits, what we found is that the most common places of littering at our campus is the outskirts of it, such as the parking lots. Even though there are multiple areas we could focus our data collection and research on, we wanted to focus on the back parking lot near the swimming pools because out of all the areas we visited, we thought this parking lot had the most amount of trash present. Shockingly, we found an average of 105 pieces of trash every 10 minutes, and that is about the equivalent of a full bag of trash, unfortunately. So as mentioned on the previous slide, during our data collection, we took some pictures, and on the left, you see the 105 pieces of trash we were able to find just in about 10 minutes. Let that sink in for a second. And on the right, you see that there are all kinds of trash present in the area, from masks to plastic to straws.
So, nauseated with how much trash we could find, we asked the question why. Through extensive research by reading countless of articles and journals on the issue, we've found that the main reason for littering is quite simple. It's the idea that you won't be punished. In fact, it's proven that by setting up signs telling people about the punishment, which in California is a minimum of $100 and 8 hours community service, greatly reduces littering. The second reason we found is very connected to the first reason. The second reason is that people tend to litter where it already is litter. Littering multiplies. This is due to the fact that when there's a lot of littering in an area, it doesn't seem as bad or like anyone would care if you just drop a tiny piece of packaging on the ground, because to the total amount of littering, it doesn't add that much.
So after collecting data and extensively researching the causes of littering, we start to wonder if our fellow students and staff members were actually aware of this invisible littering going on our campus. So we decided to conduct interviews to learn. We interviewed students and staff we saw on campus about littering and asked them if they thought there was a littering problem on our campus. The majority of students have actually said no. And then we showed them the pictures we took of the secluded areas, and they changed their minds. They agreed that there's in fact a littering problem on our campus. They were very surprised and disappointed. So with this interviews, we were hoping to make everyone who comes to campus and deserves a cleaner environment aware of the abundance of trash in the secluded areas on campus. It made a lot of sense to us that 95% of participants weren't aware of the invisible littering on our campus, since it is hard to notice littering when they're not in popular areas commonly visited by students. But of course, we believe that doesn't mean it shouldn't be talked about. I mean, the invisible littering shouldn't be talked about or given attention to, as trash anywhere in any amount can have detrimental effects on the environment, as we've discussed on our motivation slide. Basically, because popular areas like the quad near KJ's is taken care of with many commercial recycling bins, does not mean the rest of the campus is also the same. We believe through our interviews, we were able to educate students and staff. We're hoping to reach out to even more people through this presentation and get them hopefully involved in our solution we will be discussing in the next upcoming slides. So after data collection, interviews to spread knowledge, and research on the causes of littering, we decided to introduce some solutions. Specifically, the research we've done on the causes of littering has helped us to decide what kind of solutions we needed to introduce. To go back to our research on the causes of littering, we had concluded that the two main causes of littering are lack of trash bins and this idea that you won't be punished. We made sure to keep these in mind while looking for solutions. After having some solutions in mind and an actual data on the amount of trash, we made an appointment with the head of the facilities department, Mr. Cadiz, and told him about our project, solutions, and concerns about the detrimental effects of littering our campus may have to face eventually. Our first solution, the one we also presented to Mr. Cadiz, is about making people who visit the area aware that there is in fact a fine associated with littering. We thought anti-littering signs were perfect for this purpose. With the help of the facilities department, we will have them put out in the next few months. They will be representing the state policy, which is that littering has a minimum fine of $100 and 8 hours of community service. Additionally, to address the second main cause of littering, our second solution is about putting out trash cans into the area, again with the help of the facilities team. Our mind is fully set on implementing these, so we knew we needed to make a verbal agreement with Mr. Cadiz.
Other solutions we have not done yet, but we would love to do, is spreading more education. I'm not saying people should take classes on littering, that would just be silly, but giving out flyers would be a great way to let people know more about littering. Another great way to let people know more about littering is through educational presentations such as this one. And our last solution that we would love to implement is organizing cleanups. By organizing cleanups, we can reduce the total amount of littering in an area and therefore reduce the effects of the multiplying of littering, which we talked about earlier. Now that you're hopefully educated on some of the horrendous consequences of littering and its invisible presence on our campus, you may be wondering how you can help. If you or someone you know regularly litter, please try to constantly keep in mind the consequences of littering and look for a trash bin whenever you feel like littering, because it's very easy. By reducing the amount of littering from the sewers, we will have to pick up way less littering. Additionally, we need a lot of help implementing our future solutions we mentioned in the previous slide to make sure they're being as effective as possible. Moreover, if you want to help even more, take an extra step forward, please contact us through the emails presented on the screen so you can help us with our mission.
So we want to thank you for listening and stay litter free.